Hello my friends, welcome to the start of a new weekly reading vlog. It is Monday morning. I just got done editing the last 2 weeks actually vlog, which is gonna go up later today, and I thought I would come and introduce the new vlog. So what we have planned for this week, I'm excited because I only have 2 books left on my TBR, on my magical readathon TBR, and then we can get back to reading some romance. Like, that's what I'm really excited about, okay? So I went to the library yesterday. I have a tote bag full of library books. At first I wasn't gonna check out any more library books, but then I thought, why not? You know what I mean? Like, yes, I have a lot of books on my TBR that I need to read, but honestly, reading is supposed to be fun, and I have fun checking out library books and reading them. And this time I specifically went with nothing but romance, so that after we finish the magical readathon TBR, I can go right into reading some romance before I need to start my September reads, which I've already picked out. That's what this stack is here, my September TBR, which I'm probably gonna end up filming that today. I need to film some videos today, so I might do that today. But let's start with the reading update, because yesterday, Sunday, I managed to read all of this, all of that, which is a lot. And I thought about just finishing the book, but I wanted to do other things. So didn't finish it, but I will be finishing it today because I only have this much left. I am currently on page 290 of The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin, and I'm really sad to say I'm not having a good time with it. I'm just not into it. Like, there's nothing wrong with the book itself. I'm just not connecting to the characters. I think that it's a very interesting world and an interesting magic system. So let me just tell you what's happening. So basically in this world, there is this magic, and we have gatherers who their jobs is to go into people's dreams. Sometimes people request gatherers to like peacefully bring them on into the next life, like essentially killing them, but they don't call it killing. It is basically just like this holy act. So there's a lot of reverence in it. And sometimes people ask for that, you know, they're sick or they're just ready to move on. Or gatherers also gather people that are judged corrupt, and so they go into their dreams, they send them into a peaceful eternity, and they collect the dream blood from that exchange, and that kind of sustains them, as well as they give it to the, oh, what are they called? The sharers? Yeah, the sharers, that they take that dream blood and they use it to heal people. So that's pretty cool. And we are following one of the best gatherers, Ihiru. And we're following him as he very quickly discovers that there's corruption within the temple of these gatherers, and so he is like kind of forced to question everything he knows. He was commissioned to gather a certain person to kill a certain person, but he doesn't do it because he needs answers about why this is being requested. And so they have kind of gone on this very gone into this uneasy partnership to kind of figure out what this conspiracy is. Meanwhile, there is a literal monster who is hunting and killing people and making a perversion of what the gatherers do. So that's the story. The world is fascinating. The magic is fascinating. I just don't care though. I just don't care. I'm not connecting with the characters. I'm not connecting with the story itself. It's just fine. Like, on the surface or like on paper, it's very interesting stuff and should be enjoying it, but it's just not presented in a way that's enjoyable for me for whatever reason. And like, this is N.K. Jemisin, and I know that this is one of her earlier works, and I think like maybe I did myself a disservice starting out with the 5th season. Maybe I should have started with some of her older things and then moved into the 5th season, and maybe I would have enjoyed this more. But now that I know she can write like the 5th season, this is not doing it for me. It's not doing it for me, which is really, really sad. But I'm gonna finish it today, and then we'll see what I end up rating it. I just never in a million years imagined that this would be the result, that this would happen. But that's what I'm reading today, or I'm gonna finish it today, like I said. And then this is the last book on my Magical Readathon TBR, which is One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. My plan is to start this evening and then finish it out in the next couple days, however long it takes me. And this is gonna be, I forget what class this is for. I have to go over all of that later on at some point, but this is also the book club pick for the Black Hat Book Coven. Our live show is gonna be on the 27th of this month on Jackie's channel, so I need to read it definitely before then, but I am so excited for this. One of my most anticipated reads, so I'm hoping it'll go very well. Becky has already read it and given it 4 stars, so extremely hopeful. Now let's get into my little book haul, my library book haul. And let me show you this actually. So I went to the dollar store, I think it was on Saturday. My daughter wanted to go to pick out little things for herself, and I don't usually go to the book section because it's the dollar store and they usually don't have anything good, but like I did this time. I picked up a couple of books that I'm not adding to my TBR, they're just like for decoration, which I'll show you at some point, but I like to use books as decor sometimes, so I picked up a couple books for that. And then I saw this one. This is Eliza Starts a Rumor by Jane L. Rosen, and I saw that it was blurbed by Emily Henry, who I have enjoyed in the past. And I'm a sucker for an illustrated cover, and for $1.25, I mean, why not pick it up, right? But it says that it's a charming, heart-rending, and laugh-out-loud funny. Eliza Starts a Rumor is a fast-paced story of 4 women coming together to face their pasts and forge their futures through sharing their secrets, betrayals, and triumphs. They emerge renewed in this joyful celebration of female friendship, always down for female friendship. So another one that I've added to my TBR. Then from the library, I picked up romances. So the first one I picked up is You Had Me at Hola by Alexis Daria. So I have read from Alexis Daria before. I read her short Amazon story, the Bruja one. I forget what it's called. And it was fun, like it was fine. So I'm excited to check out a full-length novel from this author and see how this goes. I know absolutely nothing about it. Nothing. Then, because I read from Jane Agaro before and really loved The Sweetest Remedy, it's like now one of my favorite romances. It was 5 stars. I saw 2 more books from her, so I picked them both up. The first one is Ties That Tether. Again, know nothing about this. We'll see what happens with that one. And then I picked up Where We End and Begin. Again, know absolutely nothing about this one, but the cover is so stunning. It's so pretty, so pick that up. Then I found a couple of queer romances, which is exciting. So I have Satisfaction Guaranteed by Corelia Stetz Waters. This is a female-female romance, and what was exciting is that one of our main characters, Cade, has inherited a sex toy store, which I've recently discovered as I've been doing more romance research, that I really like main characters in romance to have unique or interesting jobs, and the owner of a sex toy shop definitely qualifies. So excited to read this one. And then the other one is Mistakes Were Made by Meryl Wilsner. I absolutely do not know anything about this, anything about the plot, but it's a female-female romance as well, so I picked it up. Excited to read it. And then the last romance that I got is How to Fail at Flirting by Denise Williams. Again, I know nothing about this, but it's a cute cover, and I've heard tell of Denise Williams as an author, so I wanted to try her out. But I'm excited to just like go into these not really knowing anything and just read them, because romance just really excites me, especially lately, so I'm excited to give these a read. And then I did pick up one book that wasn't a romance. It is actually a cozy horror from what I can tell. So this is Suburban Hell by Maureen Kilmer. This I had on my radar actually. I put it on as to read on Goodreads last year when it came out in 2022, and this is like, it takes place in suburbia. We're following a bunch of women. I think some kind of demonic presence or element shows up, and it has something to do with the she shed. That's all I know. That is literally my ultimate dream, to own a she shed. It really is. Anyway, that is my that is my book haul. So we have started the vlog off with a book haul with a bang. Now we will hopefully continue that way because I am going to, I don't know which one of these I'm gonna start with. I need to get through my TBR first, my actual TBR. So I am going to finish uploading that video, and then after that I'm going to finish The Killing Moon, and then I'm gonna start one for my anime. Did you come to visit me? Do you want to say hi? Say hi to the camera. Say hi to the people, Wayne. He's like, no. No thanks. Oh, no thanks. Mwah. I love you. I love you. Bye bye, baby.
Cut out me walking in the park.
Oh my gosh. Because you were doing a weird hop thing.
Yes.
It is a little later in the evening, and I have finished The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin. Unfortunately, I ended up giving this a 2-star, like a 2.5. It's right in the middle for me. I'm so disappointed. I honestly never thought that this could ever happen to me. Like, it's N.K. Jemisin. How could I give her anything less than a 4 or 5 star? But I just wasn't into it. It just didn't grip me. It took me a while to like pick up the beats of the story, and even when I did understand what was happening and like had a pretty good idea of the world and the situation, it just didn't, like, I didn't care. I didn't care at all about the characters. I didn't care about the plot. I didn't care about anything. While there's definitely a hint of the amazing, intriguing, hooking writing that N.K. Jemisin has today, it wasn't her best, which is understandable. Like, this was, when did this come out? Like back in 2012, I think. So I don't know. I think it's more of a case of like, it's me. Like, I'm the problem, it's me. I don't think it's the book, because I can see how people could enjoy this and how it could be a great story. I get it, but I just didn't like it. I didn't enjoy my time reading it. I could have honestly cared less. I could have quit reading this book at any time and I would have been fine. So yeah, I don't have much to say beyond that. And now I don't know what to do because I have The Shadowed Sun. Do I give that a read and see if I like it better, or do I not?
What may I do again? What? Wait, can I see it? I want to see it.
Okay, goodbye, Liz. Okay, and anyway, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying before she came in. Oh, I don't know what to do about The Shadowed Sun. Should I try it, or should I just not? Anyway, that's done. That completed my psionics and divination class, and then this is for, I forget what class this is for, but I'll let you know at some point in this vlog, because I'm gonna wrap up the entire readathon, because this is my last book for the magical readathon. Yay. And this is One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. I have started this. I'm not very far in, but I can already tell you that I am loving it. Like, I'm only on page 24, but I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. So far from what I can gather, we have 2 rival families. We have the, let me make sure, I wish I had the audiobook, because like, I'm not 100% sure on the pronunciation, but we have, basically we have the family of Baba Yaga, okay, Baba Yaga and her 7 daughters, and then we have Koshki, is that how you say it? Koshki, and his sons, I think they're 3 sons. They're rival families, they're witches. I think that there's also maybe a hint of like a Romeo and Juliet type thing. Like, the way this is set up is very Romeo and Juliet-esque. So I've read the prologue and I'm in the middle of Act 1. So it's kind of set up like a play and like Romeo and Juliet, because Maria, who, I don't know if she's the oldest sister, but she's one of the daughters of Baba Yaga. She apparently had a thing with one of the brothers, but now their family are rivals. and like we haven't heard, like, I'm only 24 pages in, obviously, so we haven't heard like backstory on that, but I'm very excited to find out more, and I'm just loving it. I'm loving Olivia Blake's writing and her authorial voice. Like, I just love the way she tells a story, you know what I mean? So I'm having a blast with this. I'm going to continue reading this tonight, and then I will update you on how far I get in the morning. I also, because I had some time where I couldn't physically read, I also picked up what's it called? One of my romances from the library, Where We End and Begin by Jane E. Garrow, and quickly realized that this is like a second chance romance. So now we can put it to the test and see whether second chance romances are like, is the trope just something I don't like, or were the two instances that I read that trope just books that I didn't like? So we shall see based on this one which way I'm leaning when it comes to second chance romance, but that's what this is. So we shall see how it goes. I will let you know. I wasn't recording this whole time. I just started talking and I wasn't recording. So here we go again. So we just got back from Barnes & Noble. I know. I bought more books. I have a problem. It's fine. Basically, we went to Barnes & Noble because I was looking online to see if anyone had copies of Fourth Wing. And it said that my store, the one that I work at, had copies. And Sean happened to be right next to me while I was looking this up, and he's like, let's go. So listen, he is super supportive, okay? Find yourself a man who is that supportive when it comes to your book buying habits. So we went there and they didn't have any copies. So it lied to me, but that's fine because we found other things. So here's the book haul. So some of these, 3 of these are actually for the kids and only 2 are for me. I was very good. The first book I picked up is The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. This is Ashley Poston's newest. I think it is a romance, I believe, but I think it's dealing with some heavy topics. I think it has a lot to do with grief. I remember seeing a post on Instagram where Ashley was talking about this and how difficult it was for her to write. Okay, so this one, I didn't even realize this. I didn't read the synopsis before. I never read synopses, you know that. But this one says, Clementine West moves into her late aunt's apartment and finds a strange man standing in the kitchen, a man with kind eyes, a southern drawl, and a taste for lemon pies. He is someone who she might fall head over heels for, but it says, except he exists in the past, 7 years in the past, and she quite literally lives 7 years in his future. So that sounds interesting. Hopefully it'll be a good one, but very excited for that because I do enjoy Ashley Poston and her writing. Then I picked up Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater because I've heard great things about this, and specifically I've heard this compared to The Beautiful Ones by Silvia Moreno Garcia, which is literally my favorite Silvia Moreno Garcia, and I just loved the romance in there so much. So I'm hoping that I'll get a similar experience with this. It's supposed to be cozy fantasy romance. And then I might as well show you the 3 books I got for the kids. So I saw this one while I was working and I asked Lizzie if she'd be interested in reading it, and she very much was. So I picked up a copy. This is Bibbidi Bobbidi Academy, Rory and the Magical Mix-Ups. It's a cute little first chapter book, and I think it's like about a girl going to fairy godmother school, which sounds adorable. It's a Disney book. I think she'll love it. And then for my son, we picked up Miles Morales' Stranger Tides by Justin A. Reynolds, because my son loves Spider-Man. So this will be perfect for him. And then we were about to check out and I saw this. Like, I didn't even open the book because it was wrapped in plastic, but I saw it and I was like, this just looks so cool and I have to have it, and I got it. And it's a storybook, which I'll probably read with the kids, especially this spooky season, but it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And the illustrations I have to show you because it's so cool. But look at how stunning this is. Under the dust jacket, that's the front. Oh, hold on. That's the back. Look at how beautiful. Hold on, we need like a top-down view. So here it is, and the cool thing about this, look at those end papers. It's so adorable. But the way the illustrations work, so you'll see like a picture like this, and then it has a vellum page here, and when you turn the page, There's a ghost! And the lighting is not great right now. I need to show, yeah, there we go. Now you can see it. There's a little ghost, like a regular picture, and then you turn the vellum page, and there's the ghosts. Like, how freaking adorable is that? I love this so much. Like, honestly, I think I'm gonna have more fun reading this book than the kids will. But yes, I had to get it, and I am so glad I did. Like, it was kind of pricey, honestly, for a kid's storybook. It was $27.99. Of course I get half off, but like, still, that's a lot. But it's so worth it. It's so worth it. This is my book haul. I am so excited for spooky season, you guys. Just so excited. Hello. I have not done a ton of reading, so this isn't a huge update, but I just discovered something as I was reading When We End and Begin, or Where We End and Begin. So basically I spent the morning filming. I filmed technically three videos because I had to refilm one, and then editing a video to go up tomorrow. I've been very productive this morning. Also did a load of laundry that I still need to fold and put away. But I'm getting ready to go pick up the kids from school, and I just thought I'd sit and read this for a little bit. And I realized that this book is connected to The Sweetest Remedy, which I read earlier from this author. So we're following someone who is friends with the family from The Sweetest Remedy. Tiwa, who was one of Hannah's estranged sisters, is getting married. So she has come to Nigeria. Our main character, Dooney, has come to Nigeria for Tiwa's wedding. I'm hoping that we get a cameo of Hannah in this one as well, but we've seen a lot of characters from that first book in this one. That's pretty much all. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. I was just really excited. But I am currently on chapter 5, 38 pages in, not very far, but am very much enjoying this. So our main character, Dooney, like I said, is going back to Nigeria for the wedding. She has a very estranged relationship with her mother, and she has history with Obina, who is the boy that she used to love. And when she left Nigeria to go to school, they lost contact, even though they had promised to stay in touch, to be together forever, and it just didn't happen. And so now she sees him again at this wedding, and we are currently like going back between past and present. So I'm getting the first chapter now of the past, but also she is engaged to someone back in America, but we don't know anything about him, and I don't think she's very happy to be engaged to him. So I don't know what's going on with that. I'm sure we'll find out more, but I'm excited to keep reading because I am really enjoying it. And I was just so happy that it was connected to The Sweetest Remedy. It just made me really happy. So that is my update. Hello friends. Last night I finished Where We End and Begin by Janie Garrow. This was absolutely a success. So I mentioned before how like second chance romances don't seem to be my trope, but I wasn't sure. And while I still think it's not my favorite trope, I love the way it was done in here. I think that Janie Garrow is like possibly becoming a new favorite author. I loved this. What I really loved is that we got to see Dooney and Obina's love story from the beginning. Even though it was second chance, we have these chapters where we went back in time and we saw them meeting for the first time and their romance back when they were in high school and figuring out how we got to this point in their current relationship. I was completely taken off guard. Towards the end of this book, there's something that the author kept from the reader throughout the entire book until we got near the end, and I was shooketh. I don't know if I should have seen that coming, but I honestly did not see that coming, and I was screaming in bed last night because I was so taken off guard. We know at the beginning when they first see each other again that there's a lot of history between them, not just their previous romance, but like things that happened between Obina and Dooney's mother, their like family drama and relationships. And we get little pieces of it as time goes on. We learn more and more about what happened in the past. And I love the way that that was revealed a little bit at a time. But I adored their romance. They were so sweet together. Like, I felt it. You know, I've read quite a bit of romance, and like obviously the main factor you need in a romance is to enjoy both characters and enjoy them together, really feel that chemistry together. And while that's happened in the past, it's a little bit different with Janie Garrow's romances, because I feel it in my soul that these two people are meant to be together. They had chemistry, they felt like soulmates. Their love was just so tangible. Both of them could feel it. You could feel it as the reader. It was beautiful. This was honestly heart-wrenching. It made me cry. It was absolutely beautifully told, but it was also slightly dramatic. Like, there were things in here, like I said, I didn't expect. And while I loved the direction that this went in, there were times where I felt it was a little bit too much. Like, I understand it and I wish I could talk about it spoilery, but like what really got me was the ending and that big surprise that I did not see coming, and how that affected their relationship, or how it's going to affect their relationship in the future. Like, yes, there's a happily ever after, but there's also kind of a little bittersweet element, I feel. There were times, especially towards the end of the book, where I felt like Dooney, the main female character, was just like I didn't understand what was motivating her. I didn't understand why she was being so extremely cautious, because the circumstances didn't seem to really warrant it until we got that surprise at the end, and then it kind of made sense, but it was still a lot. It was still a lot. So because of that, I couldn't give this a full 5-star. I gave it a 4.5, so, you know, very close, but I still absolutely enjoyed my time, and I think that I definitely can enjoy second chance romances if they're done like this. One for My Enemy might also give me a little bit of a romance fic. I'm taking my time with this because I'm like heavily annotating, if you can see, because I love this. I love this so far. I'm only 63 pages in. And I'm obsessed. I definitely think this is going to be a 5-star. She can make you immediately fall for a character, whether they're good or bad, whether they're the person you're supposed to be rooting for or they're the villain. In this type of situation, it's pretty easy to see both sides. And we just kind of figured out, because I'm now in Act 2, and we just figured out why the two families are at odds, like what happened in the past to make them hate each other so much now. And just the way the two families are entangled, the resentment that's built up there is so interesting. I'm having a great time with this. So I'm gonna read more of it today. I do have a ton of editing that I need to do. I don't know when I'm gonna get around to reading more today. I'm gonna try to make time. Hello, my friends. Please excuse my appearance. Today has been a very difficult day. It's a migraine day for one, so I am feeling a lot better than I did this morning. The migraine started like bright and early this morning. I overslept this morning. Duncan fucked up my coffee this morning. Like, it was a day. And also I just, again, haven't been feeling the best mentally. But because I had a migraine, I was encouraged by Sean to forget everything that I needed to do today and just try to get some sleep. I didn't get some sleep, but I tried. I put on a sleep mask to block out the sun. I listened to an audiobook. I took migraine pills, and it helped. It did help. I at least rested, even though I didn't sleep. Let me take these out. I feel like I can't tell how loud I'm being when I have my AirPods in. But I managed to finish the book because I didn't fall asleep, and that is How to Fail at Flirting by Denise Williams. So this ended up just being fine. It was just fine. We're following Naya Turner, who is an educator. For the past 3 years has like completely devoted herself to her work and her research, and has not been interested in a love life or really having a life at all. Her friends, her best friends, decide that she needs to get a life, and so they make a list for her, things that she can do to get herself a life. Some of the things on the list are like, you know, get drunk, or have someone buy you a drink, flirt, have a one-night stand. And so she starts trying to accomplish things on the list. She meets this guy named Jake at a bar and decides that he is going to be her one-night stand. But of course it turns into something more than that. Unfortunately, she ends up finding out that he, like, to make, it's kind of complicated to explain it, but to simplify, he works for this consulting company that her work has hired that is potentially going to put her job at risk, and like, so their relationship is kind of iffy, but it's their romance, and you know, it was fine. Like I said, I wasn't particularly interested or invested, I should say, in them individually or them as a couple. I appreciated some of the things that the main character, the main female character, Naya, went through. She's coming out of a very abusive relationship and still has not quite recovered or even dealt with that, really. But by the end of the book, she gets there and she seeks the help that she needs. The two of them were cute together, but like, I just didn't feel the chemistry. I wasn't invested in their romance. So this ended up just being fine. It did have some nice spicy scenes, but again, like, if you're not caring about the couple or rooting for the couple, it doesn't really help anything. So 3 stars for this one. Wasn't planning on starting a different book today, but you gotta do what you gotta do when you're in pain. As far as One for My Enemy, though, I read a very good bit of it yesterday, so I'm currently right here on page 246, and I'm still loving it. Things have taken a turn that I didn't expect, and I'm curious to see what happens next. So many things have happened, and I have cried. I have cried because these characters have, in so few pages, managed to be so incredibly important to me already. And you know what I realized? I figured out who her writing reminds me of. It reminds me of Miss V.E. Schwab, okay? Because Schwab's writing, Schwab has a way of introducing you to a character, right? And in very few lines, in very few scenes, manages to make that character feel like a real person. It's just something about the way, and I don't even think that it's something I can quantify or like specifically explain, but it's something about the way she describes a character that makes them instantly human, and I instantly care about them. She introduces Kel by introducing his coat, and somehow I'm still completely enamored with, like, I don't know how she does it. And I feel like Olivia Blake is the exact same. The way we were introduced to Maria, her mannerisms, her gestures, her smile, her style, the way she laughed or looked or spoke, and like, you instantly have this picture of who this person is. I don't know how they do it, but Olivia Blake and the way she describes characters reminds me of Miss Schwab, and how, I don't know why I call her Miss Schwab, I just do, but it reminds me of how Schwab introduces characters. I think they are both extremely talented people when it comes to writing, and their character work specifically, because I think that's what I love the most about Schwab and about Olivia Blake is their character work, but also the way that they describe a scene and like their nestled descriptions, and there's just something so smart and beautiful about it. And I can rant on and on and on about how much I love both of them, but as of yet I have not read any more of this today because, again, migraine and reading with my eyes, I don't even know if that's a thing that's gonna happen today at all. I really don't. So I might not read any more today, but I can tell you that between today and tomorrow, I will finish it, because yesterday I could not put it down. I could barely put it down. I only put it down so that we could watch Ahsoka, because that just showed up on Disney Plus, and it's really good so far. So hello, it is Saturday and I have quite a few updates for you. So yesterday I managed to finish One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. I loved this, you guys. This was 5 stars. This is probably gonna be one of my favorites of the year. I loved these characters so much. I loved the romance in here. I loved the drama in here. I loved the beautiful tragedy, the magic, like the atmosphere. Everything was just perfect, just absolutely perfect. This is a Romeo and Juliet inspired story meets Russian folklore and mythology, and it's done so well in such an interesting way. And like any true Romeo and Juliet story, it's tragic, but the ending was absolutely beautiful. I cried I sobbed. I sobbed reading this book. This Barnes & Noble special edition, but it does have a little short story at the end of the book called Love Language, and that was adorable as well. Just absolutely amazing. I'm gonna save most of my thoughts for the live show because this was the Black Hat Book Coven book pick for August, and the live show, actually when you see this video, the live show will have already happened. It's this Sunday, so I will leave it linked down in the description box below in case you want to check out our full thoughts if you didn't get to catch it. But yeah, 5 stars, absolutely loved it. Which means now that this is done, I have successfully completed my magical readathon TBR, which means I am now a star whisperer, yay. Let's go over all the prompts and everything that I read for the magical readathon. So first I needed to get an O in Art of Illusion, which was a levitation spell, read without touching the floor or ground, and I used one for my enemy for this prompt. I read with my feet on the bed or my feet on the couch and not on the ground, so successfully completed this. And then I needed a distinguished in astronomy. So for the O in astronomy, it was word in the title from the name of the last song you listened to, which I used Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas, which ended up getting 3 stars. And then for the Q in astronomy, it was read from a finished series, and I read The Shadow Rising by Robert Jordan, which I gave a 4.5 stars. Then for the D in astronomy, book with a red cover, and I read The Obsession by Jessica Usatanto, which was 3 stars, I believe. Okay, then for lore, I needed to get an O in lore, which was the random tarot generator one. So I read The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin, which unfortunately I did not love. It got 2 stars, which I'm very, very sad about still. For a Q in psionics and divination, it was a book set in the future, and I read Poster Girl by Veronica Roth, which was actually another 5-star read for me. And then for the D in psionics and divination, it was Lily on the cover, or word Lily in the title or the author's name, and I read The Stand-In by Lily Chu for this. And then, oh my god, I can't believe that was this month. Like, that feels so long ago. Okay, and then that was psionics and divination. I said the wrong class. For lore, I needed to get an O in lore, and that was a bookseller recommendation. And for that, I used Pen Pal by Dathan Auerbach, which was another 2-star read. Really didn't enjoy that one. So that was my magical readathon TBR, these 7 plus the Lily Chu book, which I don't own physically. But yeah, it's all done. I finished. I'm so happy. I did absolutely want to get some extra things, like I wanted to get my dragon rider certification, but that would have required reading 2 dragon books, and like the only dragon books that I have on my TBR are like The Rage of Dragons, The Name of All Things, which I haven't even read the first book. I think I had a shorter one, but that wasn't gonna happen because that is so not what I'm in the mood for right now. I just want to read romances. So speaking of romances, now that I've officially completed my magical readathon TBR, I have moved in to just reading romance, kind of just reading what I want to, honestly. I picked up Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. So just for a quick like history on Ali Hazelwood, me and Ali Hazelwood, I should say. I loved The Love Hypothesis, one of my favorite romances of all time, and I thought Ali Hazelwood was going to be one of my new favorite romance authors. Then I picked up I picked up the 3 novellas. They were fine. And then I picked up Love on the Brain. It was fine. I gave it 3 stars. And now I'm reading Love Theoretically, and I'm like, it's fine. Like, it's not bad, I'm just not enjoying it. I don't care. I've honestly thought about DNFing it, but I kind of want to just read the whole thing to see if maybe it gets better. I haven't gotten that far in. I think I'm only like 20% of the way through or something like that. So I'm gonna keep reading that and see how that goes. But I don't think Ali Hazelwood is gonna be the author for me. I think The Love Hypothesis was like exceptional, and it's still gonna be one of my all-time faves, but I really don't feel the need to read anything else from this author, honestly. But today I did get in a sudden reading mood and decided to pick up Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson, which you will see later on is part of my September TBR. So I guess I'm getting an early start on my September TBR, which is absolutely fine with me. I started it early this afternoon, and I'm already like 40% of the way through. I'm right here. I honestly had a hard time putting this down. Like, I'm kind of obsessed. I'm loving this. In this, we are following two different characters. This is set in the Cosmere. We're following Yumi, and we're following Painter. He is a nightmare painter in his world, which in his world there are literal living nightmares that come and cause havoc, and we have nightmare painters who are the ones who are able to subdue them and stop them from hurting people. Painter is one of those said painters, but he also lives just like a very isolated, solitary life, a very lonely life. And then we have Yumi, who is like this blessed chosen one on her world. She has lived this incredibly sheltered life, and all she does is serve the people by calling up these spirits, turning the spirits into things that the people need. When all of a sudden these two characters' lives are turned upside down, when they are like somehow brought together and body swapped. I am very excited to continue reading this one. I am having a blast. As you can see, I have been tabbing away. I'm just really enjoying my time with this. Loving the characters, loving the world, because it's such a unique setup, the way the world works. It's strange. It's very like vibrant, but also very dark and like literal living nightmares. You know what I mean? But also there's like floating flowers, and it's just such an interesting world. It really is. So I'm having a great time with Yumi. I'm going to continue reading this weekend. I might even finish it this weekend. We shall see. Hello, my friends. It is Sunday evening. I am getting ready to get on to our live show for the Black Hat Book Coven's discussion of One for My Enemy, which I'm very excited about. And if you didn't catch it, I will link it down below in the description box so you can check it out. Hopefully it went well. I don't know yet. I thought I would come and wrap up the vlog. I finished a book. I'm still in the middle of another one, but it's gonna have to get finished next week because I just don't think I'm going to read anymore today. So I finished Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson, and you guys, I loved this book. I don't think you understand when I say that I love this book. I mean, like, I loved this book. I got so emotional. So I think I already told you what this was about. It is basically just like a Cosmere love story. Yes, there's other things going on, but it is one of the softest, most beautiful stories that Sanderson has ever written, in my opinion. I fell so head over heels for these two characters. For Yumi, who is someone who has had this very structured life and hasn't had a chance to really live, to be independent, to make her own choices, to have fun even. And then we have Painter, even though he has more freedom in his life, has kind of isolated himself for reasons, and he's lonely and he's sad, and he's an artist who has kind of lost his art and his willingness to be creative. It kind of just like lost the spark in his life, and the two of them are brought together in a very interesting, crazy way. And they have to kind of figure out why. It is a love story. It is a very unique, interesting world. I just loved, because Yumi and Painter come from very different worlds, and I just loved the juxtaposition of these two worlds, because we have Painter's world that is constantly in the dark, covered by this shroud, where literal nightmares come to life and stalk and hunt people. He's in this modern world where we have TV and trains and cars and all modern technology and conveniences. And then we have Yumi, who comes from a world that is bright and hot and is surrounded by floating trees and plants, and is in a lot of ways very whimsical and beautiful. And so I just loved seeing that contrast, and them both trying to learn about each other's worlds and like figure out how to operate in them was just so interesting. The plot in here was so exciting. It is definitely, I will say, a very quiet story, more so than any other Sanderson book, but there are still those moments, those shocking moments. There's the, like, towards the end of this book, my heart was pounding because I was so worried and scared and like, what is happening? So it's a very quiet story, but it's also very exciting at the same time, which is hard to parse. But it absolutely was both of those things at the same time. I loved this so much. It was beautiful, it was heartrending, it was heartfelt. I loved what this had to say about art and creation and love and friendship, just all the things, just all the things. This was so soft and sweet and beautiful. Like, I sobbed towards the end of this book. 5 out of 5 stars. This is the only book, because I put it into my spreadsheet, and it's the only book this year that has scored a 10 out of 10, which makes it more than a 5-star. It technically makes it my favorite book of the year, because it is literally the highest rated book of any of the other 5 stars that I've read this year. So is this my new favorite book of the year? I honestly think it might be. Like, maybe I need some more distance from it. But I just can't be critical of it. Like, I tried to be critical, but I couldn't find anything to be critical about. I loved absolutely everything about this. It was funny, it was smart, it was creepy at times, but also really beautiful and whimsical. Like I said, maybe once I have some more distance from it, then I can be a little bit more critical. But for right now, this is probably my new favorite book of the year. Yeah, so I had like 2 back-to-back hits. I'm on a roll. I hope it continues, although the book that I'm reading right now I doubt is gonna be 5 stars, which is Love Theoretically by Hallie Hazelwood. I am 49%, can you see that? Is that focusing? 49% of the way through this one, and it's fine. It's fine so far. 49% of the way through, and the actual romance hasn't really started. Like, the characters have had lots of interaction, but I feel like the romance itself hasn't started, if that makes sense. Let us wrap up everything that I managed to read in this vlog. I read 5 books this week. So I read The Killing Moon by N.K. Jemisin, which unfortunately got 2 stars. Then I read Where We End and Begin by Janie Garrow, which I gave 4.5 stars. Then I read How to Fail at Flirting by Denise Williams, which was just fine. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. And then of course, these 2, which were the stars of the week. 5 stars for One for My Enemy, 5 stars for Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. I can't believe I put off reading this for so long, but honestly, I probably read it at the perfect time. So it's fine, I'm not mad at it. Overall, a pretty solid reading week. I'm very excited to see what I get around to reading before the end of the month. Talk to me down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Have you read any of these? What do you think? Hopefully you will pick up the 2 best books that I read this week if you have not read them already, because they were amazing and I highly recommend. But yeah, talk to me down in the comments. If you want to leave me an emoji, leave me a paintbrush emoji or like a palette for Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. But that is going to be it for me today. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!